the other thing. Oh, fabulous food and drink, but please don't order it in the middle of a set, right? So there is going to be a break so you can come up and replenish. Replenish. That'd be a laugh. That was Johnny.
Part of the poem about Scotland, the Scottish Highlands where I grew up. It's a place where the scenery is very beautiful. You know, you look out, you see heather-clad hills and glens, and coastal scenes with islands, and the panoramas are open in a lot of the places up there because there are very few trees. But if you hike in the hills and find a place with a lake, or a loch as we call them there, or a lochen if it's small, and see an island on it, quite often there are trees on that island. And those are remnants of the old Caledonian pine forests, which once blanketed that land. And most of them disappeared because they were used for firewood and for construction. The clans burned each other out, woodland hideaways. They ran free-range goats, but the ones on the island they didn't get to. This poem is called Caledonian Pines. Age toughened, brittle, jagged, grey of limb, half fossilized, these hardy few survive, remaindered by their moats of mountain rain. Alive, small stands, their yield not worth the swim. Held high before their former fiefdoms' hills, last green crowns cocked to high ground, heather-skinned, old clans alone, their branches seed with moans, the winds that bear them barren freedom's chills. I chose that poem because it reflects the kind of poetry I write. I write poetry that's rhymed and metered, the old-fashioned stuff that stood the test of not just centuries but millennia. You know, Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey, and dactylic hexameter it was, and Beowulf and Shakespeare, and all the other classical poets. But Ezra Pound came along in the early 1900s and changed all that. And now it's free verse mainly that blurs into prose and storytelling. But I still do the old poetry stuff. And, in today's world, it feels a bit like the Caledonian Pines. This very dawn, I stood upon the buttress across the bay, the watch crag of Loch Carron's Narrows, where lookouts perhaps one day sentry these Viking longship routes from Ivor Blacktooth's pillagers as his ravaging bands swung inland to ravish the wives of villagers. Before me lie the sheltered coves, where the sailboats race today. Now their wooden hulls heave sideways as the tide wash ebbs away, but their lap-strake lines and their gleaming curves seem to come alive again and take to the waves of the inner sound like a timeless song's refrain. And I see two square sails billowing as they swallow long sea miles. The dragon ship of Somerled, lord of all these isles, passes Ellen Donnan's fort. 128 oarsmen bend their backs to the beat of a gong to ram the fleeing Norsemen, and Cthulhu beats that gong in tune to muscle and sweat and wave. Her tawny hair howls in the dark. She's his mistress and his brave second mate in battles and surprise nighttime attacks that set the bold invaders to their oars with flailing backs. With 200 Irish gallows glasses and with smoke and sleight of hand, he routed 1,000 Vikings, and with the will to understand the needs of men who rally to the stronger shield and blade, he won his phrase in minds, not bays, by allegiances he made. I see beached goblet sterns becalmed, like the local sleeping faces. Our hearts in song's communion rose. I saw the shimmering traces of unfulfilled but fervent longing in glances bare and vulpine, watching sea lochs simmering red, dark as quaifs of mulled wine. And I realize that just like them, I'm another whose dreams of glory are doomed to nullity, for they come too late in history's story. It's about fish farms. I've never been much of a fan of fish farms, and you know, quite apart from the controversies about the quality of the meat and the impact on wild runs, Another thing bothers me about fish farms. I mean, these are Atlantic salmon. They're a species that's evolved to be born in a little river in Scotland and make it all the way to Greenland and back again. And it seems just the wrong species to choose to cage for its lifetime. So this is the poem Fish Farms. The net pen salmon swim around. 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 All river memories now drowned. The net pen salmon swim around. The net pen salmon swim around. The net pen salmon swim around. All river memories now drowned. No natal stream to be refound. The net pen salmon swim around. The net pen salmon swim around. All river memories now drowned. No natal stream to be refound. No swimming past Prince William Sound. The net pen salmon swim around. All river memories now drowned. No natal stream to be refound. No swimming past Prince William Sound. These pseudo salmon now abound. Now, grey shoulders breach and lope, implode and telescope, impelled by ruthless credos of chilled and vicious pride. The wolves tear savage furrows down the nightscape. Their eyes are shined with blood, their mission clear. Grass springs back, shot to green behind their passage. Twin tracks traverse the vales. Cold comets' trailing tails leave, scarred in frost, their message. The wolves passed here. Wolves have a cousin, and I met one of them while camping in the mountains of Alberta once. The title is taken from the fact that in that scene there was a full moon and it was reflected on a calm lake. This is called Baying at Two Moons. The moon is full above Mount Inglismaldy and mirrored on obsidian Two-Jack Lake. The nights are growing long, but no Vivaldi concertos leap the season's firebreak. There's silence. Now a lone coyote flows along the bank, then, head raised like a seal, balancing a moonball on her nose, poises to unthroat a call. I feel her loneliness. She's come so close to me, it seems as though she may have lost a mate, and sensing me has sparked an urge to yowl. But even so, I don't anticipate the utter woe-begonness of her "Ho!"